Welcome to the Law, Your Money, and You. I'm Roberta Sapphire, an attorney in Massachusetts.
And I'm Camille Barron, a financial organizer also in Massachusetts. And we're going to be talking tonight with some of the students who came to the Sharon High School Financial Reality Fair.
Yes, but even these are special students because not only did they go there, Rose, who was our intern last year and who did snippets for us and did the Brighten part of the BrightenUp campaign, she also took film there. And the other young lady, which we welcome, Sofia Von Fedak, did I say that right?
Yeah.
She guessed how many Tootsie Rolls within two, but we'll go in there. We're first going to say, welcome to you both. This is Rose Warren. Rose, tell us a little bit, tell us a little bit about how you got into that financial reality fair, your thoughts on it, but you especially, you went around with the camera. What was the feedback and what was your feedback?
Well, I was actually involved with the financial fair a little bit before it even happened. So myself and another one of your interns, Lexi Glanz, started
She was on the show.
Yeah. Started the BrightenUp campaign at the school, which is sort of like a pilot for the whole entire financial fair. So we got about 20 to 30 students involved, and they came and they showed that they were interested in learning about financial literacy. And from that, I think the PTSO and you guys sort of took that and made it into the huge financial fair that involved the whole entire senior class and half of the junior class.
Do you know we were given number 3 credits on this
I saw that.
whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. And how about you, Sophia? What did you think of the fair? Like, what was your favorite booth? There were 13 booths. What was your favorite?
I really liked the one where it was housing, because it made you realize how expensive it really could be, and it made you realize how important roommates could be to help you actually make it through the month with the little money that you make. So I thought knowing how much housing became like a reality to a lot of people, because nobody realizes how much it costs.
Yeah, really, that's interesting.
Well, the state encourages financial fairs like that. What was your favorite booth?
The Law, Your Money, and You. I like the 2 hostesses who were on.
They're lovely.
Well, from that, it did start with the Brighten Up campaign, but from that too, Camille's a member of Rotary, and my husband is the new Rotary president. The Rotary got involved, and they had several people there.
That's
too,
right.
Under
yes.
the community.
Yes. Community service?
Community service.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was very good.
But that's interesting. The housing. Did you spin the wheel at the end?
I did. I got sick, and I had to pay $300, and it really hurt my budget.
So you spin the wheel, and you either have to pay more or get less. So you got sick. So what happened? Did you still have enough money?
I did make it even, but I did not own a car. I took public transportation. I should have gone for working part-time at another place, but I didn't because I was too stubborn, and I was like, no, I can make it out fine. But for me to be comfortable, I should have gone with part-time job as well. And I had a roommate. I had shared everything. The food budget was the lowest. I was in a very low budget, but it made it real. So
so you didn't have a car?
I did not have a car. I had to use public transportation. I paid for public transportation.
Well, what if you were in a college that... this is coming out of college. So this is coming out of college. What did you think of the fair on a whole?
Maybe we should just explain to the viewers about the fair real quickly.
Yeah.
What it was, and it's part of a statewide and even beyond statewide program for financial literacy for students. And we called it the Financial Reality Fair. Sometimes it's called the Credit for Life Fair. But what happens is students who are seniors or juniors or both are assigned a role where they go fast forward into post-college life. And they are asked to choose a career, and they are given a salary, an annual salary, and a budget. And then with that budget, they have to go around from one booth to another, each booth representing an area where they'd have an expense, a financial expense. And housing was one,
That's
transportation. And so by the end of the day, they have to have come up with a sound spending plan and that at least breaks even and definitely not puts
Otherwise
them in the
they
red.
have to go
Otherwise they
back.
have to go back and change some of their decisions.
Did you visit the luxury booth?
You would have had to have visited a luxury
think
booth.
What could have happened at the luxury booth? Was that the one that was like, yeah,
Vacations and,
Yep.
yeah.
I did visit it, and I maxed out my credit going on vacation with my friends.
What about the clothing booth? I mean, this is interesting, the feedback on the clothing booth.
Clothing bug. I like probably got the basic what I needed for work, and that was it. Like it
I
wasn't.
knew one of my friends had to buy like the suit one because he was an accountant or something, and he had to dress for his part.
Yeah.
So that really cut into his budget a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is that the people who were volunteers at the booths not necessarily were experts in that field, but they were, a lot of the Law, Your Money and You people were there. But I know, like, our friends at the Sharon Credit Union were on the clothing booth. And
They
you say,
were,
well, what do
yeah.
bankers know about
Yeah.
clothing? So they were just volunteers. We had, there were a lot of people that had been on the show, The Law, Your Money and You. There was Alan Laurie, an accountant,
Yeah.
and he was there. There was Cliff Kaplan, who was in the BrightenUp Campaign. So did you stop
Alan was there
by?
too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
We had somebody from Rhode Island, Tony Coyer, we're
And
giving
Chris
everybody
Lefebvre.
plugs.
Yeah.
Chris Lefebvre.
There are a lot of people who've been guests on our show who were part of that.
Now, did you feel that it reinforced? Now they're all talking that financial literacy, that the high school students are not made aware of it. Did you feel that it fulfilled any need of yours, or reinforced the need for financial literacy?
I personally think it definitely did, because the main thing with BrightenUp Campaign is that kids were starting to freak out about how they were going to pay back their debt from college and how they were going to find a job after college. So I think something like the financial fair really reinforced the importance of budgeting and figuring out if going to a more expensive school is really worth it if you're going to have to pay that off in the end. So I think it really made people think a little bit more about their choices. and how
Well,
it's
you
gonna
know, the
affect them.
state gives a tool, what they call a toolkit. So the state of Massachusetts is pushing this, and I don't know if it's being done in other states. But I mean, this is a great thing. What I want to do is pause for a minute for applause. This is applause for Sophia. Sophia, you won the Tootsie Rolls. We had that at our booth. Guess how many Tootsie Rolls were in there? In other words, for the people watching, we had almost everybody there guessed what was in it. You guessed 608. There were 610. There were two people that guessed 613. And other than that, it was not even close. We were wondering how you came up with that figure.
I don't really know. It was more like I think I counted like along the base, and I was like, should be around this. And my friends guessed a lot lower, and I was like, no, that's definitely wrong. That's way too low. Because I've guessed in other things like that, and it's always way higher than you expect it. So I was like, you know what? Go for the higher end. And then I won. So it worked out.
That was so close, and nobody told you.
No,
I
nobody
think
told
only
me.
2 people knew how much were in there anyway. But that's interesting. You know, it was interesting too. There were people there, students, who were guessing the circumference of the base and had a ruler. We had some Tootsie Rolls out on the table, and they measured and this and that, and they were way off. Most
These
of the-
too technical.
school.
They were too technical.
yeah, they were
weren't
too technical. They were in the 300 range, but
Yeah.
we wondered how you figured 6. I mean, that's an odd amount, 608 to guess. That.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
She also eats a lot of Tootsie Rolls.
No, it's not. Not at all.
You gonna have a Tootsie Roll party now? What are you gonna do with them?
I don't know.
Auction
Have
them off?
a Tootsie Roll party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say was the most benefit that you got out of the financial reality fair?
Definitely learning more about real life experiences and how you actually have to budget. Like, there's not an option. You have to figure out how much you're making from your job, how much you need to or can spend, like, in like a monthly or weekly range, and then figure out from there how you're gonna sort of
That's interesting.
pay for everything.
You thought of that. You thought of that with the Brighten Up campaign,
Yeah.
too. How about you? Have you ever?
For me, it's definitely like noticing how like saving for retirement from basically now, like starting now, makes a big difference. Because if you start now, if you're putting so much percent into retirement, it ends up being worth more later on
Sure.
because of the interest that you get back and everything. So it's just like the whole idea, like you need to start now. You can't like put it off and be like, no, once I make more money, I'll put more money in, so it'll make a difference. Be like, it will end up equaling the same if I started earlier when I made less money. But in the end, no, it's worth to start earlier. So it's like that's something that like
interesting.
definitely stuck with me.
But also not just paying for retirement, but paying for having fun now. And
Right.
not just worrying about getting food or
Right.
staying in a rented room that you're sharing with 3 other people.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very difficult thing, and it doesn't stop. It's something that people of all ages struggle with, is the trade-off between saving for the future versus managing your life and even cash flow. Some people really can't save very much for the future because they barely have enough to live on.
I mean, I'm thinking back to when I was your age. I remember if I got an extra $10 somewhere, I would use it to just buy personal items that I couldn't afford, and I never thought of retirement. I just thought of saving money so I could get to college.
It is hard. It's a concept that a lot of young people they can't relate to. That's why it's interesting that you are relating to it, because it's so far off into the future that people just can't put their arms around retirement.
What do you think of a project too, besides this, of actually working a business? Like if they used to call it junior achievement years ago, and you like set up a business and you sell an item and you work and you have real expenses. What would you think of a program like that?
That would be interesting, but I feel like it'd be more interesting for people who are interested in it. So if someone didn't want to be an entrepreneur, if they want to be a doctor or something, that might not be the most
That's true.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely some people, I know a lot of people in Sharon who would be interested in something
Actually,
like
many professional people are poor business people,
that.
which is interesting too. But this whole financial literacy. What about like borrowing? There was a booth on borrowing, like loans?
Yeah, I didn't have enough money to they wouldn't let me loan anything. So
They wouldn't let you
I didn't
borrow
really
anything?
visit that booth.
Well, one of our things, like with our Brighten Up campaign, which is for financial literacy, was that you should be aware of how much money you're borrowing, and just because they say, well, you pay it back at the end, what happens is you're paying interest on interest, which we brought out.
Right, and then of course there's the credit rating. That's a factor, and it's something that is very difficult for people to get past if they have something adverse that happens and their credit rating isn't so good.
What were some of the comments that your peers made?
There were 2 that really stuck out in my mind, and one that everyone was a dock worker. That
what?
was a dock worker.
What's a
Everyone's
dock?
that it was their part-time job, and they would pull docks up.
Oh, they were
I don't know.
dock
Everyone
worker?
was everyone was. Very,
How did they get that?
They went to the part-time job booth.
Oh.
And that was their part-time.
That was
job.
one of the jobs?
Yeah, and then something else a lot of people liked is one of my friend's mom was in charge of the nutrition booth, and they had carrots, where a lot of the other booths had candy, and everyone kept on going back for the carrots.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
2 that stuck out in my mind.
That's funny. And how about you?
For me, it was, you could tell the people that were receiving, they were getting paid a lot more money than other people, and you could tell how they were spending it a lot more instead of saving it. It just didn't fully make sense in my mind when it's okay, yeah, you're making a lot more money than me, but that doesn't mean you should be spending that much more. You're still only you're only supposed to be this age. You're supposed to be saving some of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just went and bought the biggest truck, bought the biggest house,
Yeah.
and it's just that's not the point.
Well, what happened to them at the end? Did
They were fine because they had
were still
they had
fine?
a good, they were making a good amount of money.
I think a lot of them came out by spending that much around the same as someone who didn't have that much money. So
In
it
the
was
end.
it was still
Yeah,
tight at the end
yeah,
for both of them.
yeah.
The one was living more
We
luxuriously.
have somebody who, again, Tony I have to do, because he's been doing this for years, since he has the thing, the Money Watch, so he's been doing it for years. People come to him because they're spending more than they should, and he tries to get them on a budget. Now, wasn't he telling us a story where he said to somebody, how much is your mortgage payment? And he said, what did they say, 20,000 or something?
Oh, it was like, I don't know, like 200,000 or something like that. Oh, how much
is your
How
mortgage
much is your
payment?
mortgage? I think that was the question. How much is your mortgage? And it was like $100,000 or something. And he said,
For the year. And
he didn't say it, he didn't specify, and Tony said, well, that's not too bad, 100,000 balance, you know. And he said, no, that's the monthly payment.
Yeah, a monthly payment.
Jeez.
Yeah,
So
there
that-
are people, so he was trying to get them, he was saying to them, you really can't afford it, so you should try to go into something you can afford. So even though they might make, say they're making 500,000 a year, they still are going under because they're spending even more. So you have to learn to spend less than what you get, and in that way you get ahead.
And tell me something, what do you think the role of the parents of some of the students
Good
is?
question.
What kind of a knowledge base do you think that a lot of the parents have, and what are they instilling in their students?
Well, my mom is like a little bit more of a spender, I would say. So by seeing that, I sort of try to save my money a lot, and then I try not to spend as much as I should. Or
But you're
not
going
should,
the
but
opposite
can.
way.
Yeah, basically. But I'm also learning a lot about my mom, about taxes and budgeting, because she's fine, but
Oh,
yeah.
now you were talking before we started that what you're going to do. You're going to be traveling. Go into that, what you're doing.
Oh, my mom just works for the FDIC, so she's being sent down to Washington, D.C. to do, it's a promotion, and she's just going to be working with people down there and sort of helping them out a little bit. And then so I'll just be traveling down sometimes to go visit her.
Oh, nice.
So are you going to college? Are you going to go to college?
Yep.
You're going to do okay, so where are you going?
I'm going to Emerson, which is right off the Common.
Oh,
in
that's
Boston.
great.
Very nice.
Wow.
Years ago, they used to say you went to Emerson to be a teacher, or I think they have a big
No, that's
production.
Emmanuel.
Oh, that's Emmanuel, but Emerson, doesn't they have a big video?
Yeah,
Communication.
movie? Communication.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
do you know what
nice.
you're going to be
Feel
focusing
lucky.
on?
Right now I'm in communications, but I'm still looking to be involved with all the film and production, everything on campus.
Good.
So I'll just be joining a lot of clubs.
Great. Great. And how about you? Any plans for you?
I will be going off to Worcester to Holy Cross.
Good.
So
Congratulations.
we're both close to home.
And any particular area that you're interested in?
So they make you go in undecided,
Mm.
and then
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm like starting off with a pre-med track. So I started with like the idea that I will be majoring in biology or in like the like health professions field. So I started off like with science courses the first year, so I can actually end up doing that. But you have to go in undecided. Everybody
that's
goes in
very
undecided.
good, because usually people change their mind anyway.
Yeah.
One of our people on the advisory board who's also very into this, Jeannie Sullivan, she was doing career development, and she said that 90% of the people change. In other words, what they do today, they didn't start out to be. So that you got to keep in the back of your mind. But I mean, I'm still changing careers on a
We do it
daily
throughout our lives.
basis.
It is. It's really throughout our whole lives.
I think we're lucky in this country that we have the opportunity to change careers, because before, whatever your father did, you did. You know what's I found interesting is funeral homes. There aren't that many of them, but they're all family.
Yeah.
And they're all years and years. I mean, if you look into that. There was somebody at the reality fair from a funeral home, believe it or not. And I still can't figure it out, but he's an attorney for the funeral home. I can't figure that one out. But I mean,
Get him
they're
on the
very,
show.
yeah, they're very nice. It would be interesting. They're very nice that he goes to all the reality fairs. And he's in the anti-violence booth.
Yeah, it was
Maybe- yeah.
security and
Yeah, the security.
yeah.
Did you visit that booth, the security?
Yeah, you had to visit every
Yeah.
booth. So.
Well, what's interesting, we're operate. One of our two main things is anti-violence, and the financial reality. And financial reality, you never go. But what part? I think you started asking Rosie about her mother. What
Oh,
about
about
the parent?
parents, yes, in general,
We didn't
whether
get
it's your
to
parents or in general.
Sophia.
What are your thoughts on the role that parents play or could play if they were more aware of some of these issues?
I don't know. I feel like it's all in like how you were like raised and like where to spend the money. Like, is it worth to spend the money there? Like, is it worth spending this amount of money on a really nice shirt or to buy cheap 3 shirts? So like it all depends on like how you look at it. Sometimes I think it's worth spending it on a really nice shirt because it's gonna last you longer.
Right.
But sometimes it might not be worth it. Sometimes it is okay to go with the cheap 3
Yeah.
I'm
shirts.
just curious, do you have any friends that can't go on to college because they have to work a year first? They're going to work first?
I don't have any friends that had to do that necessarily, but I have one good friend, Ria Turkia, who's she's taking a gap year, and she has an internship with like a sort of event planning place, and she's sort of interested in stuff like that, but also not really. But she's just taking a gap year just to sort of travel a little bit and see what's out there, and then she is going to Suffolk. For a class of
isn't that
2020.
interesting?
And
That's
then
very interesting.
I know somebody who there was like the School for Dreams, and then she got in, but financially she could not pay it off, so she's going to UMass Amherst just because the money's not there. I know
that's
a lot of people who
interesting.
just money ended up making the choice.
Well, there's still good schools, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah, everybody's.
I have to tell you, when you get out of law school or any school, I mean, any school, usually people don't ask you where you went.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to go to the tops. It's funny, the state schools and the other schools are becoming the top schools.
Yeah. I have my dad's friend. He went to UMass Amherst, and then he graduated like top of his class. And then he went to Chicago for a graduate. And now he lives in Stevie Wonder's old house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Upstate New
nice.
York,
We
yeah.
want to meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. I think that's fascinating. But we hope that you will come back and visit us and maybe be part of, we'll get some Brighten Up campaigns going on. We're about to go in. We have a segment called You've Got to Be Kidding, which we'll do. But we also added a new segment, is what's the latest thing out there, with financial reality. And on this particular one are the anti-violence. And what's interesting is in school, you could say you've got to be kidding, with school, school books. I don't know if you'll find it out. You need a new book. Well, why do you need a new book that costs, maybe $200-300? Because they might have changed one paragraph.
Yeah.
Now, they did that when I went to school, and from what I understand with our interns, they're doing it now too. And there's a bill that one of our interns, he said that he is responsible for this. Mark Daniel Paul, who's with the School on Wheels, and they're going to be coming on the show too. There's a bill going through the State House. Now, this is Massachusetts, I don't know what else, to control the cost of textbooks. So one caveat, when you go to buy your books, and they have these things where you can get used books, see why they are changing the book. Is it just to make money for them? I mean, if it's just a paragraph, why buy a new book? I just saved you a few $100. But
And also, there was something on one of the news channels about 2 months ago, I think it might have been on 60 Minutes, that there are colleges that actually have gone out of business because they haven't been able to get as much revenue as they need to stay in
because
business.
people aren't going into the schools?
People aren't going, because of the economy,
Right.
they may not be able to afford the tuition, the expenses are not going down, so they've actually had to close their doors.
That's terrible.
Isn't that something? I would never
be
have
kidding.
thought that, but it does happen.
Well, Fry, you've got to be kidding. I have to tell you that right after the financial reality fair, I went on a plane to Arizona because my oldest grandson was graduating. So we took the Tootsie Rolls, which are heavy, and I gave it to this gentleman who we know that we were going to see afterwards. And so he took the Tootsie Roll home. Well, we came back, and I saw him. I go, we're going to be taping the show. I need the bottle back. So I think he gave it to you. And what did he sell you? Don't say his name.
I won't. No. Oh, he said there may be a few missing. He said because we had some company over the weekend and they ate some of the Tootsie Rolls.
So we have we had 3 interns, these young fellows, and we took a look and I go, count them. So they counted them, and there were 504.
Wow.
So I'm going.
And originally there were how many?
610.
Wow.
So I said, boy, that's a lot of Tootsie Rolls. So I thought maybe they counted wrong. So I put them out when they weren't there. I put them out and I recounted everything. And you'd be surprised how it doesn't look like there's 100 missing.
Yeah.
So
right.
you're supposed to say you've got to
You
be
gotta be
kidding.
kidding.
So I counted it twice, and then I went and I had to get more Tootsie Rolls. Well, those Tootsie Rolls come from your local Planet Fitness, who has a big bowl of Tootsie Rolls to take.
How many trips did it take you to get to 100?
About 5.
You gotta be kidding.
No, so that's it. So that's you got to be kidding. So at this point, we thank you. We're doing a lot in financial reality. We want people to know. We're gonna give little blips like that to let people be up to date. We're really working. We're going to be doing live at this and live at that, just on financial reality. So we hope to hear from you. Send us a note.
And thank you very much. And I wish you all the best as you continue on. And you know, this is an ongoing program, financial literacy, a Brighten Up campaign. There'll be more fairs, but there'll also be many other things that will help educate people, particularly students. So we would love to hear from our viewers because I'm sure you have lots of questions and lots of stories. We'd love to have you jump on the bandwagon with us. Please let us hear from you. Send us an email because remember, this is your show. The law, your money,
And you.